Welcome! Today we are going to discuss a trip that I took to go see a couple of movies last week. And I took some footage of that trip that I thought you might be slightly interested in. Okay, so first I'm walking to get to the main road, and I'm walking out by these nice trees in this forested area out behind where my new house is. And now I'm already automatically over by a Walgreens, and now I'm automatically at the theater. It's amazing, isn't it? Yes, it is. Well, that's Century Theater 16, and it's the biggest theater that I've been to around here. You know, something you should know about Portland, Oregon, they have more theaters per capita in Portland, Oregon than any other city in the United States, which I always found interesting because you would expect maybe New York or LA to be those kinds of cities, because those are the cities that always get the small budget films that nobody ever gets to see but really freaking wants to see. They always get those movies playing there. But no, not here, where they have shitloads of theaters. Come on, man. Anyways, the first movie I went to see was Where the Wild Things Are, and as you can see, I was very pleased. Where the Wild Things Are was pretty much the best movie I've seen all year. Hands down, best ever! I mean, I don't know what I can tell you that you haven't probably already been told. You know, what's interesting to me is that, you know, not only did Spike Jonze work with Maurice Sendak on this freaking film, the author of the book that's being made into a movie here was working on the film. So you know that he had to be happy with it in order to let it pass through, right? Well, wow. It was amazing. It captured the spirit of his original book to the T. And, you know, I've heard people saying, oh, it was such a downer, you shouldn't take your kids. No! Freaking take your kids to this movie. I don't care how much of a downer it is. Kids need that kind of freaking reality. Kids can handle it, okay? They are freaking resilient. And, I mean, they, better than anybody, will be able to relate to the character of Max in this film, who coincidentally was played by a kid also named Max. I can't remember what his last name is. This guy, Max, this kid Max, it's just an amazing performance. Probably the best performance from a child actor that I have seen in at least a decade. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen something this damn good. And the film really had the Jim Henson 80s feel to it, because of course it was it had the Wild Things were made up by the Jim Henson Company, and you can tell that the only thing they changed even a little bit of was the mouth movements, which were apparently done in CGI, but mimicking like exactly the actual actors' movements as they said the lines. So, you know, it feels so realistic. They feel so real, and they look so real that it, you know, it sucks you in. And what's great about it is that it's so existential. Oh, I mean, I know I sound like this film geek who's just like, oh, it's so existential, ha. And it's like, well, it is kind of an art film when you think about it. It's an art film for kids, which is crazy, but it's great. But when you really look at the story and what part each character, each wild thing plays in the story, you realize, you know, this movie has more to do with Sigmund Freud than it does to do with a kid's book. And that's not something bad. And it's not even something that most kids are going to pick up on, but that's okay because secretly that message is still getting implanted. That's how good this film is that at the same time as you as an adult are catching on to these little things here and there, that you really have to have a higher sense of knowledge to understand. Kids are able to relate to this other kid who is like doing such a great job at acting as this kid Max, that it's just insane. You believe it every single second of it. You just know. You're like, I know that kid. He lives down the street from me. I've seen him before. I've talked to him before. I know that kid, you know, or I knew that kid when I was a kid. I knew that kid, or I was that kid, or you know, you'll relate to the guy automatically. And the fact that each of the characters kind of plays a part of Max's personality, you know, and you know, there's just these scenes, like there's just one scene where he's talking to these owls, I guess. And I'm not ruining anything for you, okay? I'm just saying it's just one scene that's just great, that just sums up, you know, how he's really feeling there. So, you know, it's really good on multiple levels. It is like the first film I've seen in a long time that I can honestly say appeals to ages 2 to 92. This movie will please, I can imagine it wouldn't please anybody who watched it. It felt like they were bringing back Jim Henson from the dead to have his last hurrah, because his spirit was like just present throughout the whole film. It felt like one of those classic 80s fantasy films that Jim Henson did. Why did I say Spielberg there for a second? I don't know. But yeah, it, you know, it had kind of like a never-ending story feel to it too. But yeah, A+, A freaking plus. Where the Wild Things Are was freaking amazing, and you have to go see this movie. And I don't care if you're broke. I was broke, and I went to see this movie. Broke is not an excuse. Go see the movie. Well, there was an hour between Where the Wild Things Are and Paranormal Activity, which is the second movie I went to see. So I went into the mall. Yes, the theater's right next to a mall. And as you can see, there's a Powell's Books. And we're going to go in there and show you some cool stuff. But first, there's the Game Trader. And before I continue, I just have to say something about Game Trader. I am going to show you one of these days, if I can, some footage of Game Trader. I asked the guy who works there, I think he owns the place actually, if I could take some footage of the place because it's so great. It's got this great feel to it and everything. But he said, yeah, there's too many people here right now. Probably come when there's not as many people and everything. You know, I'm like, okay, I respect his wishes. But this place is great. They have a freaking arcade machine in the store. Not only that, they sell Atari games, they sell Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis games mint in the original boxes. They sell NES games, they sell original Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, every single Game Boy in fucking existence games. They sell practically every game ever made there, except for the really early stuff. They even sold like 32X and Sega CD, and they had Saturns for sale, Sega Saturns. And they had one of the newer top-loading, like, you remember when do you remember when they brought out the top-loading NES, and since then that's been the one to get? They also brought out a top-loading, I mean, it's funny to say that, because the original Super Nintendo was a top-loading machine. But they also brought out a new, smaller version of that later, and they had that copy. They had that version for sale in the store. And I was shocked. I'm like, holy shit. I haven't seen this in years, you know? Walking into that store is like walking into the freaking past. And it's just great. I love that store. Things are a little overpriced, but it's like if you're looking for something and you genuinely can't find it anywhere else, they have it. And they have it in amazingly immaculate condition. Ah! It was great. That place is great. So back on after gushing, back to Powell's books. I'm going into Powell's books here. And what you'll see here are a bunch of books about films. You've got The Close Encounters of the Third Kind. You've got a Coraline companion book. You've got some E.T. books in there somewhere too. And you got Blade Runner, the making of Blade Runner. You just got freaking everything. Grindhouse, Star Wars, the complete making of Indiana Jones. This store has every book you could ever want. It's incredible. And the prices are pretty damn good for the books too. And here, of course, is their graphic novel section, which is amazing. There are so many freaking graphic novels here. I need to come here for Christmas to shop for my brother. He will love some of this stuff. Here's something for one of my friends, Mia, a zombie devil ducky. I know she likes those. I saw that and I'm like, I gotta show her. I'm on my way back to the theater and I notice there's a poster for Legion. And what I notice about this poster is that there's an angel on this poster, but the angel is holding a knife and a machine gun. Yeah, that's what I think of when I think of angels. Knives and machine guns. Of course, in the actual theater, they have a pretty decent sized arcade here with some pretty interesting stuff. But what really caught my eye is over in the corner there, they have an actual Guitar Hero arcade game. And I was just like, wow, I didn't even know they made arcades games. Alright. It's a perfect game for arcades. I mean, you can't deny that, but I just didn't know they made it in arcade form at all. I guess they did. And that's cool. The only complaint I have about the theaters, the Century 16, is that they have that CinemaScope style screen to fit everything into the theaters, you know, to fit all 16 theaters in there. They kind of had to do that. And it's just sad annoying, because it's like some films are meant to be seen this way and some are really not. Unfortunately here, all films are shown that way. But you get over it when you realize the price is only $7.25. It's like, okay, yeah, for $7.25, that doesn't seem that bad of an idea to me. I mean, to be quite honest, everywhere else I go, I pay more than that. As for Paranormal Activity, Paranormal Activity was pretty scary. But it wasn't like, you know, I've heard people saying it's like, shit your pants scary. I don't agree with that, really. And I'm sorry. I just don't. It's not that scary. It was more tension building. It was suspense and tension and, oh God, what's gonna happen? Oh shit, you know. And it's just like, it's really creepy. It's got that really creepy feel to it. It's really great for Halloween. If you're planning to see a movie for Halloween, I know there's a couple of stupid movies coming out this year for Halloween. Don't go see those crappy comedy piece of craps. They're going to walk out of the theater and say, oh God, that was a waste of money. Paranormal Activity is not nearly as much of a waste of money. It's not a waste of money at all. This is a great film. Again, in the spirit of Blair Witch Project, but it's really done well. I mean, I was shocked at how well they did it and how they drew you in to everything, and it worked. It worked. If it weren't for the jackasses laughing at every scary scene behind me, I was God, I'm just like, shut up. I mean, I experienced the same thing my friend Gio did, and it's just, why do people do that? I think it's because they're so desensitized to gore and horror movies and whatnot that if they don't even get that, they think it's funny that people are scared from the movie. Huh, he's scared there's not even any blood on the screen. It's like, shut up. In fact, just because you've been watching so many freaking bad horror movies that only shock you, and that's it, there's only shock value. I mean, are you kidding me? That is immature. That is so immature. It's pathetic. I really don't like movies like that. I mean, the classics are okay because they do it right. But when all there is these stupid freaking horror movies with a bunch of jump scares, it's like, don't jump scares get old for you ever? Can we stop with the jump scares? What's original and awesome to see is stuff that's suspenseful and tension building and all of that. And that's what Paranormal Activity is, but because they're so desensitized to this crap, they just think it's lame. You're fucking lame, dude. Fuck you. I don't know. Well, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this trip to the movies. And the next video I'm going to be doing is a DVD update. I've gotten a lot of DVDs, and I have one more to get, and after that, I'm going to be doing the DVD update. And I have some pretty awesome surprises in there. I mean, I was shocked when I actually got these, and I was like, holy shit. You know, some of this stuff was just like, I was not expecting this. This is an awesome surprise. So, you gotta stay tuned for that. It's gonna be an awesome DVD update. So yeah, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more